Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of thegaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, October 15th, 2020. This is episode 556 of The Daily Dope. So, welcome aboard. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out that it's very, very casual, just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So, we chat about board games, card games, role-playing games, miniatures games. On occasion, we'll talk a little PC gaming, like we shall tonight, and a bit of pop culture here and there, but for the most part, it's all tabletop gaming. So, do want to mention, before we get too far into the festivities, if you like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ring that notification bell, because it will not only let you know when I stream the Daily Dope live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. It'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as this morning's unboxing and first look at All Bridges Burning from GMT Games. This is volume 10 in the coin series. Wow, 10. Holy cow. So sweet. Very cool. Very cool. Also, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Because this is a live stream, that also means there is chat available on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So far tonight, we've got Kabuki Kid, Double K in the house, saying hello, first out the gates, and a gray day is here as well. So Kabuki Kid mentions, yep, I'm up against Biden and Trump tonight. Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm not going to talk politics, right? Because we can all agree to disagree as long as it's not like insane, right? But my brother is kind of ticked off at me because I didn't watch the first presidential. Well, okay, I take that back. I did watch that train wreck after the fact. I did not watch it live. And I did not watch the vice presidential debate either. And my brother's like, oh, for crying, why not? How come? It's not going to change my vote. I know who I'm voting for, period. I know who I'm voting for. There's still nothing in the debates or town halls or anything like that is going to change who I'm voting for. Anyway, so Kabuki Kid even points out, truth is those debates don't make much of a difference. Here's the point that I've been making to people as far as debates. Debates only help the person who is behind in the polls. Historically, that is always the case. If you are the front runner, you really shouldn't bother doing debates because all you're doing is giving your opponent an opportunity to get their message out there further and give yourself an opportunity to put your foot right in your mouth. So, but that is pretty funny. So Kabuki Kid says, who are these undecided people? I know, by this point in time, if you can't make up your mind between the two candidates, I don't know. I don't know. There's a part in Idiocracy 2 for you coming up soon. All right. Anyway, we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to talk politics tonight. So, strangely enough, we are having issues up and down once again with the stream. I do not know what the hell's going on. It's jumping all over the place, just like previously. So, this is getting really irritating. So, it looks like we had that problem last night where we had that little disconnect, but for the most part, we were doing okay. We were all right. But up to this point, it's already showing that we're at about 13% of the frames have been dropped in the show so far. That's awful. So hopefully YouTube kind of picks up the slack, because every once in a while YouTube kind of ends up getting, some of the data. So here's something else that I do want to mention that's going on right now. There are a bunch of issues going on with Twitter. So it may not be out of the realm of possibility that there are issues going on with YouTube as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Twitter is probably under attack by Russian hackers. That is my stab in the dark, folks. So, a great A's in chat, Flaming Heron's in chat, Jason Zirkle's in chat. I almost said Zacian. So yeah, we'll probably have a smaller crowd watching tonight, but that's okay. Hey, when I first started doing this, I'd have 1 or 2 people watching. So that's all right. Anyway, so I got a bunch of news tonight we're going to dive on into. So first of all, later this month is going to see the release of Rare Roses from Cravon Studios. I do not believe it's pronounced Craven. I think it's Cravon. And Grand Gamers Guild, I should say. And I've got the dope. In the town of Bloomsville, people live a life of beauty and floral frolicking. Little floral frolicking. Jeez. Welcome to Bloomsville. The town is known for its rare rose shops and gardens. However, it's not all rosy. The competition is tight, and the town is full of fierce florists flogging their fanciful floral wares. Say that 5 times fast. Are you up to the task? Will you corner the market on black, blue, or perhaps striped dragon roses? Yeah, I'll make you black and blue there, rose. I'm talking about the flower, not a person, all right? Okay? Will you plan ahead and get the biggest and best profits from the high-end orders? Or will you fill lots of little lucrative lovelies and leave little for others? Many strategies, many roses, much money. Test your entrepreneurial integrity in this fun, interactive game for 2 to 6 players. It'll only take you about an hour or just a bit more if your negotiations are fierce. Anyone with children to our esteemed elders will enjoy a friendly bout of Rare Roses. Rare Roses is a game featuring the art of Nene Thomas, where you play a floral designer specializing in rare roses. You'll compete against other floral designers to be the best floral designer in town. Damn you, other floral designers! You'll purchase rosebuds from Charles Foster Kane. You'll purchase rosebuds from the market for your stock. You must manage your stock from buds to blooms, and eventually you'll lose that stock if you don't use it to fill orders. Each player will have a rose specialty of a particular rose they need to focus on. If they can fill more orders of their specialist type than other players, they'll gain a bonus at the end of the game. Orders are filled from an order card deck, and the game ends when there are no more orders to fill. Rare Roses is a family weight game that's easy to understand and offers hours of entertainment for the whole family. It is for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, which is weird because they keep saying that this is a family game and the youngins should be able to take part. I don't know. Maybe it's a component thing. Maybe it's a customs thing. Plays in 45 to 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $30 when it arrives on October 27th. This looks like it could be kind of pleasant, kind of nice. Kabuki kisses Rosebud. Drops the snow globe. Love Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane is one of my top 3 movies. Depending on my mood, it kind of changes, but it's usually either Casablanca or Citizen Kane. Love, love, love it. So artwork looks pretty nice in this as well. So like I said, it looks very pleasant, but it might have some bite to it. Don't know. Have to see. Moving right along. So let's see. So Ibram has joined us in chat. Good to see you again, Ibram. So Ibram, I believe, is in the Netherlands. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Said this is like the Netherlands, the game. I guess it's roses instead of tulips, though. I'm not familiar with the Netherlands game. That would be kind of weird, though, right? Call a game the Netherlands and all it's about is like tulip collecting. And yes, I know that whole bizarreness and what was it? The 1700s, late 1700s, something like that. So Flaming Heron says, saw a good oldie the other day, the Maltese Falcon. Yes, that's another good one. Another classic. So yeah, Sam Spade. That's right. Tulip Mania, says Kabuki Kid. All right, let's move on to our next news piece because arriving later this month also from Mondo is Unmatched, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and here's the dope. In battle, there are no equals. Unmatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer features 4 heroes. Buffy will hit you with Mr. Pointy, take that, or summon her Slayer's strength for a cartwheel kick. When it's time for backup, she'll take her pick between insightful Giles or reliable Xander. Spike, a relentless hunter, seeks the shadows and calls on Drusilla's sight to let him know just where and when to strike. Willow, a peerless witch, dabbles in black magic and risks her darker self, potent but dangerous. At times, only Tara can bring her back from the brink of the abyss. Angel, once the scourge of Europe, is cursed with a soul, conflicted by his victories and taking solace in his losses. Faith is there to make sure things stay 5 by 5. Unmatched is a highly asymmetrical miniature fighting game for 2 or 4 players. Each hero is represented by a unique deck designed to evoke their style and legend. Tactical movement and no-luck combat resolution create a unique play experience that rewards expertise. But just when you've mastered one set, new heroes arrive to provide all new matchups. Unmatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, once again, is for 2 or 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in about 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $50 when it arrives later this month. Strangely enough, this is October 15th. There is no release date yet. There is no specific release date yet for Unmatched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Don't know. I can tell you one thing. My best friend, Elliot Miller, would be lining up to pick this up. He is a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. His wife is a huge Supernatural fan. I think I've mentioned it before. His wife has watched every season of Supernatural, I think 7 times. Excuse me one sec. Little hair at the end of my nose or something. It's like, what is going on? I'm sitting there like, get off me! Get off me! Like the episode of the Brady Bunch, right? With the tarantula, I should say. Get off me! Get off me! This place is cracking. Anyway, I do have to admit, I have never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I think in all the time that it was on, I probably saw maybe a grand total of 15 minutes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Just wasn't my bag of tricks. It's like I have not seen any Supernatural. Not my kind of shows. Yeah, just not knocking it. just not for me. All right, so it's Thursday. So what does that mean? It means we've got free PC games over from the Epic Games Store. That's right, we've got 2 this week. First up, we've got Amnesia, a machine for pigs. First-person horror that will drag you to the depths of greed, power, and madness. Developed by the Chinese Room, the creators of Dear Esther, and publisher Frictional Games, the studio behind Amnesia, The Dark Descent. This world is a machine for pigs, fit only for the slaughtering of pigs. The year is 1899. Wealthy industrialist Oswald Mandus wakes in his bed, racked with fever and haunted by dreams of a dark and hellish engine. Tortured by visions of a disastrous expedition to Mexico, broken on the failing dreams of an industrial utopia, racked with guilt and tropical disease, he wakes into a nightmare. The house is silent, the ground beneath him shaking at the will of some infernal machine. All he knows is that his children are in grave peril, and it's up to him to save them. So real quick, we will take a peek at the launch video for Amnesia, a machine for pigs.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed at home. This little piggy had roast beef. And this little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, 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 all the way.
My dear Mr. Mandus, I admire your vision, I truly do. But there are surely not enough pigs in the whole of London to feed the appetite of such a machine.
That all rather depends, Professor, on what one considers to be a pig.
Ooh, scary, kids, scary. I haven't seen something that terrifying since Monster Chiller Horror Theater's presentation of Dr. Tongue's 3D House of Stewardesses. Care for a drink? Also on the agenda for free this week from the Epic Games Store is Kingdom New Lands. Tales spread of far-off isles with mysteries waiting to be discovered. Rulers will need all the strength of their subjects to sail away and find new kingdoms in these new lands. Kingdom New Lands builds upon the award-winning gameplay and mystery of Kingdom by introducing an abundance of new content to the IGF-nominated title while maintaining the simplicity and depth that legions of monarchs have come to experience and enjoy. Travel to the new lands and welcome the deluge of new mounts, merchants, and vagrants that call these isles home. But be wary of the new obstacles that threaten your arrival, for not only just the greedy creatures block your way, but even the environment itself can defeat you. Kingdom New Lands asks you to puzzle things out on your own. You'll come across items, NPCs, and mysterious statues to help you, but you'll have to figure out just how exactly they'll aid you in building and defending your kingdom. Let's take a quick peek at the launch video for Kingdom New Lands. I know these games are older games. They've been out for a while, but we will take a quick peek. It's a couple minutes long. All right, there you have it. We've got Amnesia, a machine for pigs, as well as Kingdom New Lands are the two freebies available from the Epic Games Store this week. So you can snag them up until next Thursday. Well, in the U.S., next Thursday morning. Usually it's 10 o'clock Central that they usually roll out the latest freebie. So yes, wow, this is horrible tonight as far as the stream being all over the place. And I don't know why. I mean, we've actually hit points where we're showing 0 kilobits per second. So I don't know. This is concerning, because if this is still a Comcast thing, lots of luck us getting that fixed. So I do notice in chat there's a lot of discussion about horror movies. So we can talk a little horror movie stuff once we wrap up the news. So John Vogel is in chat with us as well. Good to see you, John. Thanks for hanging out. So Kabuki Kid says the audio's held okay. Well, that to me sometimes is kind of the important thing. So and Flaming Heron says, well, it never disconnected. I know. That's the funny thing, because I've seen it drop to 0. That's why you can't maybe really tell where I'm looking sometimes when I'm up in the corner here. But my eyes kind of drop down to take a look at how this, what the stream health basically is. And I'll be like, 0? What? I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm looking to see, when is that message going to come up where it says OBS Studio has disconnected? Thankfully, we have not seen that yet. All right. Once again, you can snag those 2 freebies over on Epic Game Store until October 22nd. I've always heard good things about the Kingdom series. I have never played it. One thing is, we get these, I think this would be considered 16-bit graphics. 8-bits, I think a little wonkier than that. I do not know what the fascination is with these low-bit graphics. And everybody's, it's so cute and they love it. And it's like, you know what? I grew up with that. That's what every game looked like for a long period of time. So I am not so enamored by the 18, or I should say the 8 and 16-bit graphics. All right, let's move on to some role-playing game news, because we do now have a new release date for the highly anticipated Cyberpunk Red, which is coming from our Talsorian Games. I've got the dope. The long-awaited successor to Cyberpunk 2020 and prequel setting to the new Cyberpunk 2077 video game, Cyberpunk Red is almost here. The fourth corporate war's over, and the big dogs have retreated to their corners to lick their wounds. That leaves everyone else to fend for themselves in a shattered world, and that's just fine. Because you've got your interface plugs in your wrist, metal in your limbs, and chips in your skull. You're wired in, loaded with chrome, and ready to take it to the edge. There's a world full of opportunities out there. Maybe this time you can do more than save yourself. Maybe. Cyberpunk Red is the newest edition of the classic Cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game. This core rulebook contains everything you'll need to play the game. Each character role has a unique and expansive special ability, and the life path system means every character has had their own unique, fleshed-out background. Combat is for keeps, with deadly firearms and melee weapons, potent martial arts, and a visceral critical injury system. The massive 456-page hardcover will carry an MSRP of $60. It's slated to arrive in stores right about November 19th. That is what they are shooting for. Expect the PDF to drop a few days before that. I expect to see that on Drive-Thru RPG, carrying a $30 price tag. Nice. I took a peek at the Jumpstart set. I thought the Jumpstart set was pretty good. Sammy did our review of it. So here's the weird thing, though. So this image that's up right now was supposedly the cover art, but the final image that we're showing in this series of 5 here, which is actually the same artwork that was used on the Jumpstart, is supposedly the finalized art. That's what our Talsorian Games is saying. Is we'll see it in a second. It's right after this one. Come on, there we go. That this is our artwork, and it's the bottom portion. And if you have the starter set, or I should say the Jump Start kit, you've seen that image before, and it's the lower section of the image. It's about the lower, like fifth of that image. But supposedly that's also going to be the cover art for the core book. Kind of weird. Very cool to hear that this is finally arriving. This has been delayed a few times. But here's the thing that they've done every time this has been delayed is they have added more pages. So this was going to originally carry an MSRP of $55, but they have boosted up the page count, and it's 456 pages. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it's something like 170 or 180 pieces of artwork included as well. So pretty wild. And it is going to digitally have a price tag of $30. That's a smoking deal for a PDF of that size. In my opinion, when you're paying less than 10 cents a page, that is pretty sweet. Moving right along, my final news piece. Following a very successful Kickstarter for Dream Realm Storytellers, the 5th edition Corpus Malicious, the Codex of Evil, is now available in PDF. I've got the dope. In Dungeons and Dragons, stories and adventures are often depicted in black and white. Also, even evil. Damn, I need a sip here. Jeez. Ay, 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 ay. Also, evil is often seen as evil without looking at the reasons behind it. As Dream Realm Storytellers, we believe in the power of lore for much deeper stories and campaigns. I believe they meant to say at Dream Realm Storytellers. Do want to mention this company is out of Turkey, so English is a second language. Might have some, wonkiness in this sell sheet info. So in Corpus Malicious, we will provide a lot of information about nature, reasons, and acts of evil. Ready to play the villain? This book provides everything about evil in the realm of fantasy tabletop RPG. In its 400 pages, Corpus Malicious includes dozens of content and new rules of evil that can be used both by players and game masters. Like I said, enjoy that dozens of content. It's just, hey, like I said, English is a second language. It's all right. As long as the book isn't like that, I'd be like, what? As a player, you can discover truly evil options for your character. Corpus Malicious presents more than 40 archetypes, 100 new spells, many feats, and detailed rules for becoming a vampire, a werewolf, or even a lich. As a game master, you can bring a new dimension to the alignments with the degeneration system. Find new ways to corrupt your player characters with dozens of new monsters and villains, or bring more complexity to your game with new crafting rules, torture mechanics. God forbid we don't have torture mechanics. Poison craft, and more. This book can be used by both game masters and players for both good and evil campaigns. Don't forget, the greatest heroes are the ones defeating the greatest evil, and the darkest evil is the one casting purest light away. The 414-page PDF of Corpus Malicious, the Codex of Evil, is available at DriveThruRPG for $29.99. Gotta say, this book looks very impressive. I did talk about this Kickstarter when it was running not too long ago. I do not know when the actual print edition of this might arrive. And to be very honest, if you go to DriveThruRPG, where this is available in PDF, you'll see different preview images. And there's a lot. Personally, I was trying to use those images, but they were too small. They would look very, very blurry, but it looked very, very cool. So I was like, yeah, pretty sweet. So this is available at DriveThruRPG. And of course, whenever I mention DriveThruRPG, keep in mind the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit the game, if you're going to go visit, say, DriveThruRPG or DM's Guild, then by all means, be sure to swing by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you do happen to make a purchase, then I get a little portion of that sale. All those little portions really do add up and help keep the Gaming Gang around. All right, once again, we are all over the place with our drop frames. So the Madman has arrived in chat. Good to see the Madman. We've also got Jorge Rodriguez. Philadelphia Piper has arrived as well, just as we are wrapping up the news. So there was some discussion about horror movies. There's some discussion about Cyberpunk 2077. That it has gone gold. Yeah, I did hear about that too. and that it's probably releasing on the same day as the core book for Cyberpunk Red. Now, one thing I did not know about Cyberpunk Red was that it's kind of a bridge between Cyberpunk 2020, which is, of course, the original Cyberpunk game from our Talsorian Games, and Cyberpunk 2077. I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. So it kind of details the period between. And then Cyberpunk 2077 is like in the future from Cyberpunk Red. I don't know. So Great Ace talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Looks pretty good. Yes, I also saw what the requirements for your PC is going to be for that. Wow. Thankfully, the computer I've got down here, and well, actually both, my laptop and the computer I built down here in the Duct Tape Studios, doesn't matter, singular, plural, whatever, can both handle it. But yes, I was like, holy cow, especially the graphics card. I was a little surprised. Big jump from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's for sure. All right, anyway, so there was some discussion about horror movies. And Prince of Darkness, John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, being an underrated classic. I completely agree. I really, really do. One other John Carpenter movie that I think is fantastic, especially if you're into Lovecraft, the Cthulhu mythos, is obviously In the Mouth of Madness. Yeah, come on. So that is also an underrated classic. In fact, a lot of critics really disliked that movie, and I think it was probably more along the lines of they may not have gotten it. They may not have understood what it was an homage to, but that is a great one. So Night of the Hunter was mentioned, and I find it interesting that Night of the Hunter is mentioned as a horror movie, and that's with Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters, who was smoking at the time. And to me, I don't really consider that a horror movie. Maybe psychological horror. I would possibly say that. Yeah. But I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it is as a kid, I remember seeing that. I'll never forget. I saw it on WGN, which, if you're familiar with Chicago, that's a big well, it's a big channel here. It's not a major network, right? It's not affiliated with, ABC, NBC, CBS, anything like that. In fact, WGN actually stands for World's Greatest Newspaper because for decades it was owned by the Chicago Tribune and then the Tribune Syndicate. So anyway, I remember seeing that one night on WGN, and the scene comes up where, and I'm not going to spoil it in case people haven't seen it, although the movie has been out for, I don't know, like 70 years. When can we, not, don't want to spoil this. I don't want to spoil Birth of the Nation for you, or Birth of a Nation, I should say. I know you may not have seen all of D.W. Griffith's stuff yet, but the reveal, the fate of Shelley Winters' character scared the crap out of me. So discussion is about Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage. I have it. I have the digital, movie that was sent to me. I have not watched it, and I have heard good things about it. But I remember the original Color Out of Space, that movie that they did, and it was with Claude Akins, and Will Wheaton was in it. And I like the story. I like the story Color Out of Space. I don't like the depiction of the sort of degeneration of the family in that. And that's what Color Out of Space is all supposed to be about too. That they're all losing their minds. And it's like, I'm not a big fan of like movies that feature insanity. Oh, Shining. I do. Come on, you fucker. My mistake. Yeah, yes, we saw we had a there was the disconnect. We got the disconnect. Hopefully, same thing that happened last night. Damn, we are all over the place tonight. We're down to 0. Yeah. Yeah, everybody in chat saying, whoa, what happened? What happened? For a second, I was like, I forgot. This comes with Charity of the Gods. I was going to say, oh, yeah, it comes with Destroyer of Worlds. I have that as well for review. So, yes. So Great A says, I heard Jeff curse. Yes, you did. And the funny thing is, it was showing that it was disconnected. So I was like, come on, that's not the first time you heard me drop an F-bomb on this show. So, man, that is so frustrating though. Even from the reconnection, because when it disconnects and reconnects, all of a sudden OBS Studio shows it as like, oh, this is a completely new like video, right? So even at this point, it's showing that 30% of the frames have been dropped since that disconnection. So I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. I got to be honest. So the madman says I was a sailor. If I remember correctly, I think the madman was in the Coast Guard, if memory is serving. So that sounded like normal conversation to me. Yes, that's normal conversation, really, with me. I do have a rather potty-ish mouth. So a Great A says, when I was flipping through the starter set here, trying to see what the adventure was, thought that it was the beginning of my outro where I'm like flipping through Rime of the Frost Maiden. Anyway, so we were talking horror movies. Yes, Night of the Living Dead. Like I said, At the Mountains of Madness. Not at the In the Mouth of Madness. I wish they would make a movie for At the Mountains of Madness, because, and I know Guillermo del Toro has wanted to make that movie for a long time, and they were really pushing to try to make it, and then kind of fell apart. You know what I think it would work really well is if they did a limited series, like they did The Terror on AMC, which I did like. I thought it was too long. I really, really did think it was way too long. It was a bit different than the book too, because I had read the book. But anyway, so yes, this is, of course, obviously enough, the time of year when everybody's busting out the horror movies, kicking back. And I know AMC does they used to do a much longer Halloween kind of month. I don't believe it was the entire month of Halloween, but I think they used to do like 20 days of Halloween or something like that. I got to be honest, I have not taken a peek. So Jorge Rodriguez says, I dislike Del Toro since that movie with the child in Fairyland, Pan's Labyrinth. I thought that movie was wild. And very sad too. Yes. The monster with the hands, like, I don't want to hit the mic. It's like, hey, hello. Howdy, howdy, howdy. So a Great A says the old Dunwich horror movie, which was from Hammer, was way more psychedelic than I remembered. Nice. I have not seen that. I have not seen. To be honest, Lovecraft hasn't translated very well to film. I mean, Reanimator's pretty good. It's very bizarre. Yeah. Very, very bizarre. And I saw that when that came out. my best friend Elliot Miller, who we mention quite often on the show, he and I went and saw that, and we're like, wow, zoinks. We're like, holy cow, this really is rated R, man. But as you know, that's more campy, kind of campy than anything else. From Beyond, I did not think was very good. Now, I only saw it once when it came out in the theaters. I should probably maybe try to check it out again and see if, you know, if my taste has changed, which I know it has for other films. So, kind of curious. That I shouldn't say old, that black and white Call of Cthulhu that the amateur team put together, that was pretty good. So Flaming Huron says The Whisperer in Darkness was good. I have not seen that. I've not seen that at all. But I do think At the Mountains of Madness is just prime for limited series. I think it would work really well, like as 6 episodes or something like that. I'm surprised they haven't tried to pitch it that way. We've got The Stand. We've got another edition of The Stand coming in December. And supposedly Stephen King has written a new conclusion. So I think that's pretty cool. So Grade A says Devil's Reign with Shatner, with the Shatner, as we like to refer to him. So here, I'll share a real quick William Shatner story for you before we move along and I wrap up the show. Once again, it's showing 0 kilobits per second going out. Man, driving me nuts. Anyway, it might turn out that I'm going to have to upload the video that I record. So, yes, Kabuki Kid says, I love the old Stand miniseries. I liked it a lot, too. That was really, really well done, especially for that time. And that was on ABC. And, okay, so I'll share 2 stories real quick. First of all, so The Stand is on, ABC, right? So I watch it. It's like the first episode. And that episode ends with the rats in the corn. Once again, not really a spoiler. So I went to bed and, I was single, basically, do whatever I want, right? So what I used to do is I would actually read the newspaper before I went to bed. So I read the newspaper and I put it down and then I went to sleep. And the apartment I had, it was a garden apartment in Chicago. It was in the city. And so I was falling asleep and I heard like something rustling in the newspaper, something like that. I was like, am I imagining this? I was like, because I was just watching The Stand. Is my mind playing tricks on me? So it turned out that a rat had gotten into the apartment. I was like, "Wah!" I didn't find it that night, but I think it was like the next day or the day after that. I came home from work and I was kind of like slouched down on the couch watching TV, and all of a sudden I see something coming at me along the wall of the apartment. And I'm like, holy. So Grade A thinks I swore when we disconnected. Yeah. All right, here's a Shatner story. So, met William Shatner. So we were part of a round table at San Diego Comic-Con. And yes, Grade A says, I remember a frightful night of watching Willard. Yes, Willard made a guest appearance at my apartment. And I did use a glue trap to catch it, and it was still alive. So I took it outside. It was summer. And I actually had gloves on, and, I actually put on like a sweatshirt or whatever. And I took water and a pair of scissors and actually was able to work the rat out of the trap. And then I proceeded to carry it at arm's length 3 blocks away down the alley, and then I let it go. So anyway, yeah. I don't know. So I was like, holy shit, there's a rat in this apartment. And then I was like, I can't kill this thing. Anyway, so Shatner is pitching, if I remember right, it was a documentary featuring Roger Corman, because Roger Corman basically gave the Shatner his start. And William Shatner was just the nicest he was just super cool. The round tables, effectively, you'll have the members of the media, press, whatever you want to call it. We sit at a table, there's an empty seat. Everybody's got their recording devices and stuff like that, cameras set up, whatever. And they just take different people and they all answer questions for about 10 minutes. And then a handler will come and take them away to another table, and somebody else comes and sits down. So anyway, so he was super, super nice. So a couple of years later, we're at C2E2. So here in Chicago, it's a comic and entertainment convention. It's all right. It's not necessarily my favorite con. So anyway, we go to cover it, and Elliot was part of the gaming gang at the time. And at the time, we would get bumpers from various people out there. So a bumper is a little intro. So, because we did our podcast, right? So we had Ed Greenwood, we had Nathan Fillion, we had Will Wheaton, we had Felicia Day. We had the actor who does the Daleks voice doing the Daleks because he was appearing at a convention doing the voice for the Dalek. And we had him, it was, exterminate the gaming gang. We must exterminate the gaming gang. It's kind of funny. So anyway, so Elliot was going to go get an autograph and a photo of the Shatner, and he had his digital recorder with. And once he got up there, real quick, of course, obviously, real quickly, he's trying to, get this out. So he's like, Mr. Shatner, I wasn't there, but maybe he said, I interviewed you at San Diego Comic-Con for blah, blah, blah. And I thought, hey, would you mind doing a real quick, 5-10 second bumper for our podcast? Okay, so I just glanced as I'm going to give you the punchline here, and it was like dropping off again. So anyway, Shatner just looks, it's hysterical because the photo Elliot's got with Shatner is like, they could have been a cardboard cutout for all the interaction that's going on in that picture. And I think it was $150. So Shatner just looks at him blankly and says, no, thank you. So of course that is a running gag with Elliot. So it's we don't overuse it. My brother hits him with this too. But Elliot would be maybe like, hey, you guys want a beer? Go over to his house. Hey, you want a beer? No, thank you. So there you go. There's my William Shatner story. Although I have heard that, I guess in the past few years, he's supposedly a little bit nicer. I don't know for a fact. Here's another Shatner story. And like I said, I don't know the man personally, but I do have stories about him. So my brother worked for United at the time as a purser, which is essentially like the lead flight attendant. And his section, he was in first class, and William Shatner and William Shatner's assistant got on the flight, and the assistant told the two flight attendants who were going to work to William Shatner. They were not to make eye contact with William Shatner. If they had a question about what he wanted to drink or to eat or anything like that, those questions were to be addressed to the assistant. Yikes. All right. So anyway, yeah, this stream is horrible tonight, gang. I'm going to have to take a look to see how badly it is once this renders on YouTube. I might end up having to upload the actual recording of this. So, and got to see what's going on with, if it's a Comcast thing, I don't know. I got to be honest, I can't keep doing a live stream that's going to drop 20% of the video frames. I cannot do that. So we're going to find out. We're going to see. All right. Anyway, that is it for tonight's show. As you know, I am off on Fridays. So the Daily Dope will return on Monday. Hopefully, knock on wood. But if you like this video, what you could see of it. So Grade A asks, how many kooky fans do you think Shatner has had to interact with? Oh, I'm sure a lot. I'm sure tons. So like, that's why I said, I'm not saying anything about the guy. I'm just sharing stories that I know are facts, you know, I'm not, you know, giving you, oh, well, you know, I heard from this guy who heard it from this guy who heard it from this girl. I'm just sharing stories of, you know, it's secondhand knowledge, but it's from very reliable sources who told me about it right after it happened. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you subscribe, ring that notification bell, because not only will it let you know when I upload, say, the live stream, maybe if it's still working, of the Daily Dope every Monday through Thursday night, it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as tomorrow's review of Devil at the Dreaming Palace for Pathfinder 2nd Edition from Paizo Inc. So I know it's been out for a little bit, but you will get to find out what I think of it. As well as I kind of float out some ideas if I were personally running the adventure as well. So if you're watching live and put up with the weird, once again, the all over the place as far as the stream, thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate that. Of course, I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. So if you watch after the fact, even if you're watching on Memorex, thank you very, very much. I appreciate all of you out there who watch any of the Gaming Gang channel videos. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday night / Friday morning. I will be back on Monday. And of course, as I've been saying during this never-ending pandemic, here's hoping that you be smart and still here. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, click right here. And of course, if you want to see one of the latest episodes of the Daily Dope, click right on up here. And if you want to roll the dice, take your chances, see what YouTube thinks you might like from the channel, give a click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and I'll see you next time.